Look out! How long was that? It's been a little while, so that one's saved up. Jeez! Welcome to NBA Straya. It is Monday. Oh, jeez. I'm pretty tired, you know. September 30. It's the last day of the month. Pinching a punch, I guess. Is that how it works? Producer Gerald? No one knows. I'm your host, Jaymz Clements. You can see me on the official NBL Supercoach program, a.k.a. The Panel. You can also see me on the AFL Today Show, NFL Straya, probably a bunch of other stuff by this point. I don't know. I'm here in the Sports Today studio, a.k.a. the Jaymz Clements Excellence in Podcasting Memorial Studio. Why, you might ask? Jim, aren't you on holidays from doing NBA Straya? Yes. Must have taken something big to get you out of retirement. Yes. I wasn't retired, settle down. Karl-Anthony Towns got traded. And I just wanted to yell about it. So I grabbed producer Gerald and I've just put down some notes and we're just going to do a show. It's kind of a bit of a start to the preseason, I guess, because the NBA starts in like 3 weeks. God damn. This sucks. How was your time off, Jim? I was all right. Anyway, so we're going to talk about Cat being traded to the Knickerbockers of New York City. We're going to talk about Zach Lowe being out at ESPN. Because I've got a few vibes, a couple of thoughts. And then just as a sort of finish out preseason pick, I just want to hit on some quick divisional thoughts, i.e. who's going to win the divisions, and 5 of my favourite, very sort of early crow, I guess, favourites for over-unders. So my 5 favourite ones and an extra sort of bonus. So there's 6 there total. And that'll be it, because we're actually getting into the nuts and guts of preseason next week. Where we're going to start ranking things, talk about off-seasons and set up the pre-seasons, all that sort of stuff. So this will be fun. It's just fun. That's what this one's all about. So, without further ado, let's get into it. Episode 1130 dose of NBA Straya. Let's go!
This is Joe Ingles, and you're listening to NBA Straya.
Watch out for the Shaq Attack.
I mean, I guess you better. So my favourite off-season Shaq story has been the one where he's like very clearly, allegedly, hooked up with some chick and she's posted on the IG. And it's like, oh, she got a gift basket. That's nice. I loved it. It's like, that's just class. Like, good on you, Shaq. Like, if you didn't get a gift basket from Shaq after rooting him, I'd feel pretty upset. Just saying. I don't necessarily want one of those gift baskets myself. I'm just saying it's a nice gesture, isn't it? Anyway. It's the old Derek Jeter vibe. Look that one up. Anyway, let's do it. Yeah, Jeets. Let's start today's show the way we start every show here at NBA Show with a daily. Well, it's not daily at the moment, is it? What's happened since we last did a show, which was the 2nd week of August. So this is now the final day of September. So your mate Jim's gotten 6 weeks in between shows. That's not bad. In that time, we've done an absolute crap ton on AFL Today, like an entire final series. I took the squid up to Brisbane. That was fun. We actually caught the NBL Blitz as well after going to the footy that Saturday night and then fanged down to the Gold Coast, which was very fun. Tell you what, Carrara, it's bloody hot. I'm like, bloody hell. Squid nearly passed out just walking from the car park. Anyway, what else has gone on? Oh, that's right, some NBA stuff. Jose Alvarado got a $9 million 2-year extension. Are we doing the show because of that? Yeah. No? Oh, no, I'm hearing. No, we're not doing it because of that. Karl-Anthony Towns got traded from the Minnesota Timberwolves. You might remember them from Western Conference finals such as last year's. Well, this year's still, last season's. Remember? They made the Western Conference finals. Everyone's like, they're fucking here. They're going to win the title. They've beaten Denver. Oh, my God. And then Dallas whipped them. And now Karl-Anthony Towns is on the Knicks, a team that went, holy fucking shit. What's that over there? And it was Mikal Bridges. He was just across the fucking East River there in Brooklyn hanging out, lamenting how he wasn't on the Knicks, and then the Knicks traded for him. He was like, fucking sweet. I don't have to play for Brooklyn. So the Knicks have made a few moves, few waves. This was a team that finished 50-32 and 2nd in the East last year. Which is pretty cool, isn't it? So I guess getting Karl-Anthony Towns, that's pretty good, right? Let's find out, because we're going to talk it out. Let's do it. Karl-Anthony Towns, say your words, Jim. Karl-Anthony Towns gets traded to the New York Knickerbockers of New York City from the Minnesota Timberwolves. For what, you might ask? Well, for Julius Randle. Interesting. Donte DiVincenzo. And a first-round pick from the Detroit basketball Pistons. Now, before you start slobbering over that idea of a Pistons first-rounder, just remember, that's a top 13 protected first-rounder from Detroit, which is in 2025. Goes to top 11 protected in 2026 and top 9 protected in 27. Looking at the trajectory that the Detroit basketball Pistons have been on and are on, they might not convey that. So it's possible Detroit just are still shit. Cade Cunningham, Jaden Ivey, whatever Thompson they got. I'm going to say Orsa. Better check that. On NBA Straya, we are nothing if not fastidious when searching for the truth, or at least just not being fucking wrong most of the time, which is also a vibe. But the Detroit basketball Pistons have also. I was fucking right. Why did I ever doubt myself? Why, Gerald, do I doubt myself? No one knows. I'm one of the most trustworthy people I know. But what else have they got? They've got that's right. They've got Tobias Harris. Oh, what a story that is. God, that's going to be awesome. They've got Jalen Duren. That's fine. But I don't trust the Pistons being out of the bottom 5 this year. Next year, maybe the year after. Still, it's a handy little trade piece. But this is a Minnesota Timberwolves team that gave up 4 first-rounders for Rudy Gobert, Gustavo Tauer, a scant couple of years ago. So really, it's a bag of chips that they get in return for a former number 1 overall pick in Karl-Anthony Towns. Or is it? Can we just trust tree? Everybody in the trust tree. I fucking love this for both teams. Like, isn't that cool? You've got 2 contenders who just went, hey, is your shit working out? And the other team's like, oh, fucking not really. And they're like, fuck, ours isn't either. Can we sort something out? And they did. Like, that's unfucking real. So the Knicks had a huge fucking hole at center. Huge. Isaiah Hartenstein, hello. He pisses off to OKC in the offseason. They couldn't afford to bring him back. And as soon as Joel Embiid re-ups with the Sixers with his extension, he's off the table essentially if you're not going to trade for him. And it's a big number at that point. Whereas Cat, he was always sort of floating around as like a possibility to be traded for, but no one really was expecting the Wolves to pull the trigger. And they did. Like, it's a dude who averaged 21 and 8 last year, 3 assists, shot over 50% from the floor. That fills a fucking need for the Knicks in a big way. And the coolest part is, I guess, for them is the pick and pop numbers are through the fucking roof with Cat. Now he's got Jalen Brunson instead of Mike Conley and Anthony Edwards. How much is he going to be popping? That's a lot of popping. He's going to be like the squid. It's like pop, 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 pop. What are you doing over there, buddy? Oh, farting. Yeah, good. Seriously, the baby's fucking just next level. He's just like, he laughs at it too, which is the best part. He's 2. He turned 2 the other day. And he's like, and he just laughs. I'm like, you are a fucking legend. That is awesome. That is 100% my son. I love it. Just giggles. Anyway, so Cat, the pick and pop numbers, he shot 56% out of the pick and pop. That's the best in the league, right, out of all these other big men. And it was like a chaos set of stats where they sort of bring up the pick and pop numbers where you've got someone like the percentage of the actual plays that are being run for you like that, that'll skyrocket. I think Larry Markkanen was at 10%, which is a lot. But to shoot 56% out of that action is pretty fucking massive, right? So I really, really like the fit with Cat because he can stretch the floor. You trade him for Julius Randle, who solid defender, maybe. Cat, he's at least bigger. That's good. And as the sole defender in a Tibbs coach team, that's going to be very interesting to see what happens there. But he's at least got this size that works. He's not going to get in the way of Brunson. He's not going to get in the way of OG and Mikal Bridges slicing and dicing. Like, it just opens up that offense. And if you're going to supercharge an offense, it's this fucking Knicks one, which every so often has these incredible games. And if that defense of his can just sort of hang in, it's pretty good. Especially considering the Knicks basically gave up one of their main dudes from their stretch run last year, right? Because that's the thing. Randle was out, and then the Knicks went fucking just into the stratosphere. And it was awesome to watch. Randle, for all his good stuff, which he is good. Don't get me wrong, Julius Randle, good basketball player. Also, bit of a ball stopper. Just, it gets to me, it's like, check it out, I'm going to do some fucking cool shit on the perimeter. Oh, I'm going to drive, I'm going to drop my shoulder in, going to do this fucking gnarly tournament miss. And you're like, fuck, that was a waste of possession. Thanks, Julius. His three-point attempts also dropped pretty dramatically last season. But next to Gobert, this may be sort of between Naz Reid and Julius Randle and Rudy Gobert, it doesn't really solve all their problems about spacing, but Randle can at least shoot the three as well. Similar to Cat. It's just, I don't know. The thing for me in this trade is Donte DiVincenzo, who was absolutely fucking awesome in the back half of last season. And that's kind of the clear thing and the clear upgrade for me where you're like, oh shit. So you got essentially two starters off the Knicks for Cat. You can play Donte off the bench if you need to. He's the perfect 3-and-D wing next to Ant-Man. And Ant-Man's like fucking young as. So you're just like, yeah, let's gear absolutely everything around making sure that Anthony Edwards is in a position to succeed. I fucking love that. 3-2, boom. They also have Joe Ingles, don't forget. Just saying, that's good. But they keep Naz Reid. They keep Nicky Alexander-Walker. They added Rob Dillingham, don't forget, in the draft, which is crazy. They've got Jingles. They've now got a little bit more depth when they have Donte DiVincenzo and Julius Randle. So they switch out Cat, who's soft as Charmin. Never seemed to quite gel that properly with Gobert and Ant-Man. And boom, you got two dudes that you can play. This upgrades your perimeter defense. You've got that idea of like, all right, cool. You can throw Jaden McDaniels, Donte, you can throw Conley, Ant-Man, Gobert out there. That's fun as shit. Like, let's go. I love this for the Wolves. Love it for the Knicks. And if you want to dig into the why this actually happened as well, the Wolves tax bill was going to be over $100 million, which is pretty crazy considering that no one's sure who owns them anymore. Glenn Taylor's like, I don't want to sell it to these guys anymore. It's undervalued. And he's like, well, you did sign that thing. And then Glenn Taylor's like, oh, but you didn't come up with the money like we agreed. And it's like, I don't know. Have you ever bought drugs before, producer Gerald? Not saying that I have, not a drug guy. But if you're like, oh, look, I'll pay you the rest later, and then you don't pay, guess what happens? Nothing good, I'll tell you. I'm not saying that it's the same, but it's not. But so the $100 million tax bill, in exchanging Cat for two dudes in Randle and Donte, making substantially less, it cuts about $40 million off that tax bill. And they were always going to have to do something with Rudy Gobert or Cat, weren't they? Once they sort of realized, oh shit, we've traded the fucking sun and the moon to get Gobert. We've already got Cat. We've got Ant-Man. All chips in. Supermax coming for Cat. Supermax coming down the track already for Ant-Man. And Gobert's already on a fuck ton of coin. What are we going to do? Oh, fuck. So, rock and a hard place. They trade Cat, cut the tax bill. Now, there's some hard decisions to make about Randle and Reid down the road, but that's down the road's problem, right? Fuck it, who cares? So, I kind of like it anyway. You get a bit more financial flexibility. You get a first rounder from the Pistons that you can then on-trade if you need to, or at least maybe the Pistons keep being okay, well, shit, but then they get a little bit okay and suddenly you got a pick in the teens. But the timing of this is the weird one for me. You get Cat probably at his cheapest before the season starts, but at the same time, the Knicks didn't even get to do the Nova Knicks, which is just kind of sad. You've got Brunson, Hart, Mikal Bridges, and Donte DiVincenzo, and it's like, the Nova Knicks, it's all my best friends from uni. And everyone's frothing over that, and Donte's like, I fucking hated these guys. At uni? Yeah, we won some games, but they're all dicks to me. So he's like, fucking pack my bags out. I go. That was one of the weird stories that sort of popped off after this thing. that he wasn't quite as enamored with the Nova Knicks as everybody else was reporting. It's like, at the same time, it would have been fun. Like, what are we doing? That would have been sick as. So he's already bounced, fucked off. Off he goes. But it's weird that at least the Knicks didn't see what they had in the Nova Knicks. They had no centers though, I guess. Like, you play Randle at center and see how it goes. But fuck it. You had Mitch Robinson. He's still out. Remember, he had surgery, so he's probably out for the first couple of months of the season. So the Knicks were sort of, again, rock and hard place with the center position. At the same time, I feel like you can always just go and get some sort of replacement level center if that's going to be your fucking vibe. Like Time Lord, he's out there as well. Coming back from an ACL from last year in Portland, he might have cost a little bit. Can you trust him health-wise? Him and fucking Mitch Robinson would have been a bit of a problem, I'm just saying. At the same time, Karl-Anthony Towns isn't exactly a bastion of all-time fucking health, but he does at least just give you a really, really fucking good center to go to battle with. Because, I'll get to this in a second, but I mean, the fact that it feels kind of win-win is such a weird rarity in the NBA that I love it. So you both get A+, I guess. Nah, it's probably A's. Like, who knows? You didn't get a giant return for Karl-Anthony Towns. Like, you gave up a fuck ton to go get Rudy Gobert. What are their relative worths in today's NBA? Well, there's only one of them you can play the fucking down the stretch in a playoff game. And it's not Rudy Gobert. Ugh. Still, you got solid players in return. Happy days. Now I guess the question is, like, should we do a yeah, no? Let's do a yeah, no. Could it lead to both being in the finals and playing against each other? Yeah, nah, probably not. For the Wolves, it's kind of gone against what their strength was. Like, they went and beat Denver because they had them outmatched in terms of size. They're like, hey, that's cute, Nikola Jokic, with your fucking weird Serbian thing that you're doing here, there. What happens if we just put a bunch of big dudes on you? And he's like, do not like. This is fucking bullshit. Fucking, where's my horses? They bounced them in the second round. It's crazy. Then Dallas run them out of the fucking gym. And you're like, oh, you hadn't planned for that, had you? Now they get Donte. They replace Cat with Randle. They've still got a bit of size. Now they've got more perimeter D. I actually don't mind it for Minnesota. I do still wonder how that then leads to their matchup against Denver in some sort of inevitable showdown in the playoffs. For the Knicks, like, I kind of just think it's good. Like Cat versus the Extreme Zingamil. Kristaps Porzingis on the Boston Celtics. You might remember him. They won the title. Average Al Horford as well. He's not average anymore. What was the name we came up with for him? I can't remember. It was a while ago. Anyway, NBA champion Al Horford. That checks out. They replaced Hartenstein with Karl-Anthony Towns. He can shoot fucking threes. That's good. He might not be that good defensively. He's probably not going to go get you some hardcore rebounds like he does. He does have, like, this Karl-Anthony Towns just has these, like, random games every 2 weeks where he's like, check this out. I'm Wilt Chamberlain. And you're like, fucking hell, that's awesome. And then he just completely MIAs. So he changed his name from KAT to MIA. And you're like, oh, yep, that's still him. So if you just look at it going, well, we lose Donte. We didn't have Randle for the stretch run anyway. We replaced Donte DiVincenzo with Karl-Anthony Towns. It's a net positive. It gives them another big to throw at Joel Embiid. So once Mitch Robinson comes out, you've got Cat, you've got Mitch Robinson. It's pretty good. I don't mind that. Embiid's probably still going to fucking tear him up. That's what Embiid does. But it's a little bit better than having nobody. So maybe. I guess. And then you've got the defensive sort of, like, when you've got Mikal Bridges as well, you're suddenly a little bit still sorted for defense on the wings. They do get a little bit thinner, though. Like, Deuce McBride becomes, like, their most important backup. Again, you can also always sort of make trades, or at least, well, actually, I don't know if they can make trades. They're like $200. There's still going to be more stuff that comes out about this trade as well, because they're like $200,000 under the apron to make sure that this all actually happens. So then you have to part with a shit ton of second-round picks like to Charlotte to actually make it work. But you've still got Bridges, OG, and Josh Hart for your perimeter defense. You feel okay about that. You've got Karl-Anthony Towns in the middle. all right, you got Brunson steering the ship. This became Brunson's team. Like Randle went out hurt. Brunson took the fucking, he's like, look at me, I'm the captain now. Fuck you, I'm the captain. You're like, yep, checks out, you're a gun. Like MVP, let's go. New York loves Jalen Brunson. My favorite thing is to see how the New York Knicks fans respond to Karl-Anthony Towns. When he has a playoff game when he's had 4 rebounds. And you're like, that motherfucker's 7 foot. I could get 4 rebounds. And I'm a 5'8" angry Italian dude. That's like all the Knicks fans that I know. And actually, yeah. Yeah. No. Wait. A couple of other ones. Yeah. Still, it's just like a really fun setup where they've taken a swing, the Knicks. I love it. If Cat can step up defensively playing under Tibbs again, remember he played for Tibbs in Minnesota, this could be awesome. An older, more wiser Cat knowing what he's meant to do in a Tibbs system, that could be fantastic. He's got really fucking good, deep, awesome perimeter defenders all the way around him. He helps the offense. The Knicks should fucking just take off a bit more. Off we go. They were second in the East last year. And for Minnesota, you get more 3-and-D wings around Ant-Man, which is awesome. Because remember, it's just like, oh shit, who are we going to put on Luka? And everyone's like just looking at each other going, fucking, I don't know, not me. And not to say Donte DiVincenzo, you can throw him on Luka and he's going to stop him, but it just gives you more options, which is good. So, win-wins. Would they play against each other in the finals? I mean, it's not possible. So, perhaps. Yeah, nah. Why not? All right. Zach Lowe. Out at ESPN. So, it broke over the weekend. The Zach Lowe was being let go by ESPN, which fucking obviously just sucks because dude doesn't have a job. I mean, it's a nice big hefty payout, no doubt, but still, the weirdest thing is it's just fucking weird. Like, widely renowned as probably one of the, if not the best basketball writer going, then top 2, 3. Like, maybe other big feature writers people might dig into and just go, that's it. But like, in terms of the X's and O's and explaining it in a very, very simple and easy way for dunderheads like me to understand and appreciate, like, he's awesome. Like, the other news, like the week before, KOC bounces from the Ringer to Yahoo, and it's like, yeah, cool. What's he going to do? Go blow Elon Musk a little bit more, but over at Yahoo? Radical. Oh, no. Like, KOC, people are like vaguely divided on him. Not me. I think he's this weird, very self-important kind of writer. And, you know, background in journalism, all that sort of shit. I'm fucking wildly self-absorbed. Don't get me wrong, especially as a writer. But KOC's thing is like just holding on to tenets that you come up with and then not broking like any sort of opposition to that and like never changing your position is just fucking dumb, right? And that's kind of, it was always his vibe. And it just, I don't know, reading it's like watching paint dry. Whereas Zach Lowe, at least put a little bit of personality into his stuff. His podcasts are always fucking, look, I always called him the nerd podcast because, look, I do NBA Straya. You might not know that. I do swears. I do swears and I do the thing with my hands. I wave it around and shit. But at least, like, I hope that people understand that NBA Straya, a lot of other fucking thought and prep goes into it each and every episode. And like the Zach Lowe stuff, for all the nerdisms of it, it was always wildly insightful, and you'd come out of it learning something. You probably don't come out of every NBA Straya episode learning something. You're like, hang on a second, did Jim just reference like some weird random early 90s cartoon? And it's like, yes, Widget the World Watcher. And you're like, fuck, I better Google that. That's a good one. That's my fucking niche. But you come out of a Zach Lowe thing just smarter. And that's what ESPN should be aspiring to be. It's like, they're the world leader, right? Like, and for them to go, well, we have the rights to the NBA. Do we want the best writer? And they sort of went, no. We need more big perks, big lists. And then you go, hey, what do you think, Perks? You're like, I didn't understand, A, word he said. B, he laughed at it. C, it was completely the opposite of what they were talking about. and he doesn't know who's playing tonight. Like, what the fuck are we doing? Like, what? I get that you like we're going full blown personality based. Stephen A. Smith over here, Perk over there. Everything else is just kind of not that great, right? Like they have some dudes when they roll out like Legler and shit. Like this is fun. Tim Legler knows his shit ass backwards, and then like Perk, like really. Richard Jefferson's funny, but he's basically spending this time like coming up with like another joke to like dump on Rocco and fucking somebody else on the commentary team and shit. It's just kind of weird. So they lose Woj. I guess that was the other thing we missed in the offseason, wasn't it? Woj is gone as well. Fuck. Should have put that down. So Woj is gone as well. Woj bomb. That was also fucking strange as because it's like, oh, he was one of the greats. He was so amazing. It's like, did you ever read one of his fucking articles? Talk about fucking listening, watching paint dry. Same with his podcast. But it was the best newsbreaker in the business. The problem is that ESPN could never seemingly figure out how to fucking properly monetize that. So don't know what happened there. Anyway, he was getting paid a fuck ton to basically have the best tweet alerts in the biz. Yeah. And then it's just all this weird ball tickling shit where it's like, Jose Alvarado's $9 million contract, 2 years. He was represented by CEA's fucking Butts McGiggle and fucking asshole McCubbin. And you're like, that's just fucking ball tickling. It's not journalism. I've been yelling about this like the last couple of fucking years too. It's not journalism to be first. Like it's journalism to be like out there breaking news and contextualizing it. And it's fucking weird just to be like, sir, I was first with the news. It's like, yeah, you broke it. So what now? And it's weird. Anyway, so Woj goes, Zach Lowe goes. They lost JJ Redick because he's now the fucking coach of the Lakers. Like, what's going on with the ESPN's NBA coverage? I mean, I'm just saying, like, they can buy NBA Straya. Like, we'll do this for them. It'll be like, what are they? The Manning cast. Yeah, we'll do the Manning cast, but for NBA. I'm right here. Checkbooks open. Off you go. Zach Lowe, amazing dude, legendary dude. Wherever he ends up, he'll still continue to do great shit. Woj is just gone. He's like, I'm going to go run my fucking uni's basketball program. It's like, that's cool. And Schefter's like, oh, it's amazing. He doesn't have to fucking shower with his phone up against the screen. It's like, why the fuck was he doing that, Schefter? I don't know if that was for breaking news, pal. Jesus. But it was also weird. He didn't die. It was like the Brownlow thing that we talked about on the AFL Today show. It's like all these folks retired and like, yeah, a couple of them are sad because it's like CTE and like concussion related stuff, but they're still alive. Like they're not dead. Woj is just taking his fucking weird noggin and he's like going to go do a different job. He's not dead. Like, what are we doing? Zach Lowe's not dead. He's going to go do good work somewhere else. He's just not going to be on ESPN. It's probably going to be fine. Anyway, there we go. Can't wait for more big perks, big lists. I should do Big Jim's big lists. Number 5. Well, actually, that's what we're going to do. Let's do some Big Jim's big list. Who are the top 4 contenders that my boss said before to me? And I said, no, wrong. No. So we're actually just throwing this one around the office just then. I just wanted to talk it out. He's like, there's only 4 actual contenders. I'm like, bullshit. And then I thought about it. I'm like, actually, it might be only 6. So here's my 6. The Celtics. They won the title. You might not have heard. Other off-season news, Jason Tatum got a tattoo of himself on his back with the Larry O.B. Shush. It's fucking weird. It's gone full Steve-O. Maybe I should do that. Get a big fucking on my back. What do you reckon, Cheryl? That'd be good. The Celtics can win this year's title. The Philadelphia 76ers can win this year's title. They added Paul George. They had Jared McCain they drafted, but they also added Celtics killer Caleb Martin, which I fucking loved. Got an actual legit backup big and Andre Drummond again, which is kind of neat. You got Maxey and Lowry together. You fucked off Tobias Harris. Oh, that just makes me happy. But also, I'll probably get a bit sad. I'll probably get a bit sad this year. Like not talking about Tobias Harris and how much he annoys the shit out of me because he's on Detroit and no one will fucking care. Like I will care because I care about, I'm an equal opportunity hater. That's what I do, right? We won't talk as much about Detroit as we will about the Sixers because the Sixers are way funnier because of the way they always fuck up. But The rest of that squad, like, it's just deeper and better. So you got Maxey, you've got Lowry, you've got Kelly Oubre, Eric Gordon, they added him. Paul George, they added him. They've got KJ Martin. You've got Jared McCain. You've got Caleb Martin. You've got Gershon Yabusele. They picked up Yabu after his Olympics fucking showdown. Joel Embiid and Andre Drummond. That is a fucking deep team. Nick Nurse, good coach. They can absolutely win the NBA title this year. So can the Denver Nuggets because they're fucking good and they've got the best player on the planet, Nikola Jokic. Hello. Outside of that, who else is floating around there, Jim? Well, Dallas can still win the NBA title. They were in the finals last year. They have Luka, they have Kyrie. They proved that, like, if healthy, they're flying, they're feeling pretty good. They also, you might remember, made some moves of their own. They got rid of our man, Josh Green, which makes me sad, but also probably lowers their ceiling in my estimation at least a little bit. But in his place, they have legit fucking shooting. Klay Thompson. Decent. You've got PJ Hamilton, Washington. The other one that I absolutely fucking loved of what Dallas did in the offseason was Najee Marshall. They're like, right, let's just get a bunch of big wings around Luka and Kyrie, and off we go. So now they've got Klay, PJ, Najee. They've still got Max Shikliba, Dan Gafford, and, of course, Derek Lively, who could take another big step up. So they can win. They've got Spencer Dinwiddie as well, which is hilarious. So, look, Dallas could win the title. Who are the other ones? Well, I want to say the New York Knicks can win the NBA title. They absolutely can. So can the Minnesota Timberwolves. I already laid out their entire thing. So the Knicks, all those wings that they've got, it's like primarily just going, hey, Celtics in our sights, bang, 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 let's have a crack. And the same sort of goes for the Sixers as well. They're like, we've got a bunch of wings, throw up Paul George. We've got a couple of bigs now. We've got Karl-Anthony Towns. Might not slow down Embiid that much, but maybe we'll make him work on the other end. Maybe. More than Mitch Robinson would at least. Then, so what's that? 6? OKC is the 7th. They could absolutely win the NBA title. And I feel okay about that. Not in there. Remember OKC, so Josh Giddey off for Caruso. They just put the ball in SJ's hands. Caruso, 3 and Ds, off you go. They also got Isaiah Hartenstein, hello, so they got another big, handy. Outside of that, the Bucks, I just don't trust it. Old-ass Dame, that's just an old-ass team at this point. Doc, great. I'm just out. The Pelicans, the Lakers, the Clippers, I just can't quite see it. The Pelicans are the only sort of weird smoky that I don't mind. And Memphis are another one that I actually like, hang on a second. If they all come back healthy, look out. But at the moment, less than a month out, Celtics, Sixers, Denver, Dallas, Knicks, Wolves, OKC. That's where the 7 I landed at. I do like other teams, though. We're going to get to them in a second when we do the best over-unders. But let's talk some divisional winners first. So I just went through the divisions this morning, just looking at it going, fuck, look at this. Boston aren't quite as short as you'd think. Why is that? It's because the Sixers and the Knicks are both in that division as well. The Brooklyn Nets are in that division as well. They are going to be so bad. Oh, yes, so bad. But I still think Boston, as long as they stay healthy, should probably win that division. It is always tough to back up a title and like win a fuck ton of regular season games again, though. But I don't think Joey Muzz is going to do, oh, dudes, I won a fucking NBA title last year. Did you know that? Jason, you were there. You're my best mate, man. We did a duck boat parade, man. That was fucking cool as I drank some beers. But most of the time I was like, how the fuck are we going to win all these games next year, motherfuckers? And I looked at myself. I watched The Town one more time. Jason, I made you come over to my house. We watched The Town 4 times. 4 times, mate. And we're going to win a lot of fucking games this year, my friends. So that's what's going to happen. I think Joey Muzz is not going to settle. He's going to like judo chop those motherfuckers. He's like, hey, Jason, you're my best friend, but I will judo throw you through that fucking wall if you don't give your all. That's how it's going to go. Yeah, it's just a bit tricky. Like the Sixers could really click. It might take them a little while, though, I think, to warm up. Same with the Knicks. So give me Boston. Tried and true. One of the biggest things that I always spruik on NBA Straya and the AFL Today show is that continuity is king. Central Division. Cleveland. The Bucks are in this division. I just don't trust the Bucks as much as I would this year. Cleveland, they bring back Donte. They bring back everybody. They're a bit deeper. They've got a bit more shooting. Give me the Cavs. Southeast, Orlando. You'll hear in a second I love Orlando. Northwest, OKC should smash that one. Pacific, Phoenix. Though I don't like that as much. That's like weirder than you think. You got the Warriors. Steph Curry's last hurrah, basically. He's there without his binky, Klay Thompson, for the first time ever. He's like, what the fuck do I do with my hands? You mean I got to deal with Draymond by myself? This fuck sucks. And then the Kings, who are probably going to kang it up and just like be shit. Who knows? And the Southwest. This is it. This is the smoky Memphis. $3.40 to win that division. Just saying. There's a little bit in that division too, though. That is going to be a really, really fun one because if you think about the Southwest, you got what? All the Texas teams. But Dallas look similar to last year. I think it's just going to be a fucking knife fight. Spurs will be better. Houston will be even better. Memphis, get all of their dudes back. I don't know. I just kind of believe. All right, with that said, what are the best over-unders that we're looking at a couple of weeks out from the thing? We'll actually do all the team over-unders on another episode, probably next week, week after. And we'll go through every single one. But as I've looked at them right now, my 5 favorite are OKC over 57.5 wins. They won 57 last year. You're not telling me this team isn't half a win better? Especially with like a weird West where it does look like it's absolutely fucking loaded. But OKC are also just, talk about loaded, they're loaded for bear. You got second-year Chet Holmgren. You're adding Alex Caruso in place of Giddey. He's not going to be afraid to shoot threes. Better on defense. A little bit less of a connector, obviously, than our man Gids. But I'm sure J-Dub will take another jump, and away we go. OKC, over. The New York Knickerbockers of New York City, 54.5. Over. They went 50-32 last year. Getting Cat, I think, raises their regular season ceiling where Tibbs is going to be playing them all into the ground. But I think that's good for their win total. Brunson and Cat, I think that fucking partnership could absolutely sing. Let's go. Washington, under 20.5. This Washington team is a fucking mess. Oh, but Jim, they had 2 really good draft picks. Yeah, and they took 2 projects. Ask the Perth Wildcats how Alexander Sarr went last year. He's not going to turn your franchise around. They've still got Kyle Kuzma and fucking Jordan Poole on their team who are doing nothing but going, get out of my road. I'm going to get buckets. Great winning basketball there in Washington. Miami, under 44.5. Everybody in the East above them got better. Miami did not get better. Unless you're like, hey, this year it's going to be the year of there goes my hero. Maybe he's also had an affair with another chick and has a kid on the way with some other chick. Hero. I love people going, I can't believe Dave Grohl had a kid with another chick. It's like, me, shocked, a rock star roots. Oh no. Who could have possibly have seen this coming? Really, people, get a fucking hold of yourself. Memphis, over 47.5. If Jar's healthy, you've got Jar, Desmond Bain, and just a lot of good, solid dudes on that Memphis team. They played fucking, what was it, a record 36-something dudes last year because they were always injured. Anyway, give me the Memphis over. And a bonus one that I've just put on as a bonus because I fucking love this one is Orlando, over 48.5. They were 47-35 last year. They will be so much better for the experience of going to the playoffs. Paolo in another year, Franz with another year, Franz after an Olympics. They still kind of need more point guard help, and I really wish they had Chris Paul. Like, San Antonio went out and got Chris Paul. That helped San Antonio. That's awesome. If Orlando had gotten Chris Paul, we'd be talking not just Yoffs, but maybe Ekifs. That's Eastern Conference Finals for those in the know. Just saying. Ekifs. What do you reckon? Anyway. And there you go. Those 5. OKC, New York, Washington, Miami, Memphis. So it's OKC over, Knicks over, Washington under, Miami under, Memphis over, bonus pick, Orlando over. Lock. We'll talk those all out in a further episode, but for now, that's it. How fun was that? Just a return to form for you, mate Jim. It has been sort of fun having a little bit of a break. You can also obviously check me out on the panel, the official Supercoach NBL show, which is really fun because I'm sitting there going, fucking, how good is hoops? Now I get to talk about it in Australia, about Australian stuff. Bloody lovely. Really fun. Love doing that show. So get around that on YouTube and all that sort of stuff. But get around this show on YouTube. If you haven't subscribed, what the piss are you doing? That's just a slap in my ginger face. Oh, fuck you, Jim. I don't want to see your stupid, ugly face. I'm like, to be fair, well played. But otherwise, get around all the other socials as well. We're doing heaps more shit this year. It's going to be absolutely gnarly. Cannot wait for this season to start. But as a bit of a programming note, we sort of pushed this one forward. This will be the only show I do this week, but we'll be back with more preseason guff next week where we'll do probably the over-unders or awards looks and stuff like that, off-season wrap, etc., where I'm sort of positioned. Basically, we're going to set you up for this season better than we ever have, and you'll go into it full of confidence, chutzpah, and we might just get everything wrong. But it'll be fun! Trust me! All right, what else? Get around NFL Straya with myself and Gaz. That is going fucking gangbusters at the moment as well, as over on the YouTube, so go check that out. Talking all things NFL. The AFL Today show, we just wrapped up the grand final. We've got the trade period coming up as well, though, for the AFL show. That'll be pretty fun. The Cricket Today podcast, the Football Today podcast, hold all tickets. We've got all your bases covered. It's very easy, isn't it? Get around the shop, nbastraya.com/shop. I assume that still works. Better check that. Go do it. Get a hoodie, get a t-shirt. I'm wearing one of the t-shirts today. You get a sticker as well when you buy one. That's my promise to you. What else? Big thanks to From Oslo for the intro and outro song. They rule. Go check out their other band, House Hatch. Yeah, House Hats. There you go. Running out of time. That's the album. It's really good. And also big thanks to Joshua De Laurentiis, Fascinated Goldmines, Rome, Shakalami, Iowa, Section Green, and Dozers for all the tunes you hear throughout the show. Smash them all on Bandcamp, Triple J and Earth, Basically, Apple Music, Spotify, all the good stuff. How we listen to tune support, Australian bands. That's what we do in NBA Straya. That's what we do. Support Australians. And that's it. No skip because it's late. Got to get the fuck out of here. So we will catch you next week for more NBA preseason gear because we'll actually have like just preseason guff to talk about. Media days are all happening. We've already got a funny Jimmy Butler photo floating around. It's just all going to be fun. All the shit talking begins now. All right. Who can't wait for the NBA season? I fucking can't. You little beauty. All right. This is NBA Straya saying look after yourselves, would you? And little Hosanna! Throughout safe, splits the